Hey, it's Romy, Virgo. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. If you have a Virgo sun rising or moon, then this November soul story may well resonate for you. My intuitive guidance energy forecasts are designed to give you an overview of the influences coming up. I hope you enjoy. Let's go ahead and see what we have in store in this reading. Hey Virgo, so we're into Scorpio season, and just as I was preparing for your reading, this poem popped up on my feed, and it just felt really appropriate as I was tuning in for your energy. It's by a woman called Sabina Laura, and it goes like this: you can run for miles, but the mountains will not seem any smaller. If you climb them, you will see the world through the eyes of change, and I promise you the view is better up here. And it just feels really pertinent for the way that the energy is going to be presented to you this month, Virgo. Facing anything that you need to head on and scaling those challenges and being able to do things in a different way so that there is no avoidance will put you in a really strong position to be able to balance something out and receive in the same way that you are giving, okay? You're being invited to remember your why in November, Virgo, all right? We are moving into a season that is going to see many of the planets that have been retrograde start to move direct. So your ruler Mercury on the 3rd. We then see Mars moving direct, which is a big one, on the 14th, followed by Neptune at the end of the month. When these planets station direct, it takes a little bit of time for the momentum to start to build again, and sometimes it can almost feel a little bit more chaotic than when we're in the retrograde itself, so just be aware of that. In Scorpio season, as we illuminate your 3rd house of communication, there's still that tendency for our wires to get crossed, so paying really close attention to what it is that you want to say, what it is that you mean, and remembering your why is just going to help focus something in your own energy so that you are expressing yourself and then received in the right way, okay? What I'm feeling for you is that this month of November, it's a real kind of contrast month, you know? Things still feel like they're a little bit slow to get moving, but as we hit that midpoint, and we welcome that Scorpio new moon, and then what you're going to find is that the shift in energy happens quickly, and there's this feeling that there may even be like things happening instantaneously, you know, so fast that it almost feels a bit frenzied, okay? And so where there has been a build-up of energy, things that you've been waiting for, things that have been delayed, expect that to happen and come flooding in. Now, there's a requirement I'm feeling for you, Virgo, to stand your ground over something, okay? To stand your ground over something. It feels to me that when news and information is traveling quickly towards you, you might be put on the spot to have to make a very fast or quick decision, okay? Something is closing out so something can open up. And with that major opportunity, you need to decide what you're going to do with it, okay? So it's very important, I feel, that you're not taking too much outside counsel and influence. This has to be something that you feel okay with within yourself, within your soul. Because being kind of pushed or coerced or bullied or kind of cajoled into something is going to leave you feeling really unsettled and uncomfortable down the line. I just don't see that happening. I think you're far clearer about what it is that matters to you at this point. And you are being invited to exchange that sense of overthinking for an overwhelming sense of inner peace, and whatever that is represented by for you, and how you find it and how you maintain it is really where I need you to come at, you know, when you're considering any major changes or any big decisions, you know. But what we're seeing is that there are jigsaw pieces that are going to fall into place. Now, the Page of Swords is wanting you to think about new ideas and inspirations, and I really see you being able to cross over. It's like a crossover point, you know. You can see she's kind of navigating her way along this sword to get to the other side. Now, as you kind of traverse this, what looks like quite a scary drop here, but we can't actually see it, can we? So it might not be
as kind of deep as you expect. So even when we talk about, like the poem said, that you know, it's better to climb the mountain than to keep running away from them or towards them and just feeling like they're not getting any smaller. There's something about taking a different approach and distracting yourself with the important details is going to make a difference as to how you are able to cope or to navigate whatever comes your way. All right. Now, I'm certainly seeing help is also on its way through to you, and I feel that that's coming by way of something that perhaps you connected to in the past. That may be a person, that may be an idea, that may be a returning to something and seeing it through new eyes so you can make it better. Remember your why. If you have felt like you've lost sight of something or your motivation has kind of ebbed and flowed a little bit, when Mars moves direct, you can expect at some moment through this month to wake up and just find that your mojo has returned, and with a sense of urgency that you almost feel like you want to get everything done straight away. Now remember, Mars moving in Aries activates that 8th house, where you are working with a lot of your subconscious and maybe tapping into some of the fear aspects of things. So there might be a little bit of second guessing that's taking place here, a little bit of doubting the path that you're on or why you've decided to go in the direction that you have. But what we're looking for here is for you to stand your ground. And remember, you know, you've created situations in your life, and if they no longer resonate for you, that's okay. You have the power to change them. No one is holding you to choices and decisions that you've maybe made, you know, yesterday, weeks ago, months ago, years ago. You've evolved, you've changed, and you need to give yourself permission to allow that to happen. The Hanged Man coming in here, a little bit of a nod to Neptune moving direct as well, I feel, at the end of the month as it links into that energy. And the requirement for you to surrender into the process a little bit, okay? What it takes for this balancing out, this reciprocal energy to come back. And remember, when Mercury moves direct in Libra, it's your 2nd house of value, so the way that you value yourself. And when you do hold your ground, you have to almost like allow something to then play out, you know? So if you're in a negotiation, for example, if you are trying to come to a new level of understanding within a close relationship in your life, and you present your case, you articulate and communicate what you feel, what you're looking for, and you allow that energy to open up, then there may be some delay in sort of receiving either an answer back or just a feeling like all of a sudden you've got the green light to go. Now, remember what I said, there's things that are going to be happening instantaneously, so please don't be concerned that if there is anything that you feel particularly stuck or isn't moving as quickly as you would like, when it does happen, it's going to happen like all of a sudden and all at once. So take the time to kind of be at peace with any sort of respite. But in that moment, also appreciate that there's some kind of beautiful sense of epiphany or understanding that's coming to you that I feel is about this jigsaw piece just kind of slotting into place for you. And that's really important. You can see the way that she's kind of reaching for the symbols here, the kind of sacred geometry that's being highlighted in this kind of pool of water beneath her. You're almost right on the precipice of like understanding something that's really fundamental to your soul growth, to the way that you are going to approach things moving forward. It's a change in your energy that's absolutely to the positive for you, Virgo, and I think it may change the way in which you communicate, especially when we're in Scorpio season and we're looking at that. You might find that, you know, your voice changes. You might find that the way in which you decide to engage with people transforms. You might decide to use a different medium. You might look at new platforms from a kind of social media perspective. You might allow yourself to kind of open up to a completely different audience, move into different social circles. What's happening is that you're reaching and stretching and allowing yourself to close the gap. You're closing the gap from where you were to where you want to be. And that's why it's so important to remember your why. Now, a couple of sixes coming up in this reading do suggest that it is important to maintain the balance, because there is this little bit of a sense of overwhelm and you know, just feeling like what's real and what isn't here. Now, understand that there is something incredibly tangible about the month of November, the likes of which you might not have experienced in the entirety of 2020, and that's going to serve you really well. But you might just need to wait a little bit before that shows itself. Now, we have the lunar eclipse moving back into eclipse season on the 30th of this month, right? Lighting up your 10th house of career and vocation. So when eclipse season comes around, there's major news, there's major changes. Life does shift on its axis for us. Sometimes it can feel a little bit disruptive. Sometimes it can feel that we're also, almost feel like in a state of limbo because something's been taken out with our hands, we're not fully in control. Fate steps in. And with that, there may be this sense of you just thinking, okay, what now? Which direction? Where do I go from here? What do I do with this information? And yet what I'm looking at as I tune into that Seven of Cups alongside the Hanged Man is this beautiful sense of spiritual guidance that comes in to tell you exactly what it is that you need to know and to help you to feel into that sense of overwhelming inner peace. Remember, what you need to be focused on is how you exchange any kind of overthinking or anxious thoughts into a place of like, I'm completely safe where I am, I'm fully protected, and I'm moving towards an ever expanding, opening, abundant life. This is about scaling that mountain and seeing the change and knowing that you're going to get that view of what's ahead and what comes next for you. And it's going to feel good. It's going to feel positive, okay? Sometimes we need to take a step back before we can take a step forward. When we have to close something out in order that we can open up space, there's a requirement to kind of go back and deal with something or just address something, acknowledge something. So that may come on the internal, just an emotion or an energy you have to kind of go back over. Remember, we're still in shadow sort of period for these retrograde planets. So we're not quite out of that energy yet. And perhaps for some of you it is about going back into a wound energy that feels a little uncomfortable, but I promise you the allowance of making peace and kind of enabling some healing to come through because of the clarity that will come is going to serve you incredibly well. Now, with the energy of this Three of Swords, we're also seeing that the heart is being pulled in multiple directions, okay? It looks like it's already been broken before and kind of knitted back together, okay? So perhaps what you're experiencing is not the first time that you've gone through something and that you feel, I don't know which way to go here. There's a little bit of a level of uncertainty that I get picking up with these two energies, but I need you to remember your why. I need you to stand your ground. With this comes clarity, okay? So even if there is a little bit of confusion and haze emerging from that Seven of Cups, the Three of Swords is going to cut through it and give you the information that you need, okay? Now, even though it's an uncomfortable image to kind of tune into and to tap into, it doesn't mean that what's unfolding is meant to pull you back under. This isn't about taking you backwards. Everything about November, you need to understand this, Virgo, is about positive forward motion and movement. It's about expansion and growth. It's about change and fast change. But maybe it's happening too fast. Maybe there's going to be a quality of you just feeling, I know I've been asking for this for a really long time, but I'm not sure I'm quite ready yet. You will be ready. You will find those coping mechanisms. You will find that courage. You will find that resiliency. You will find whatever it is that you need. It is important, though, that you speak your truth. That Three of Swords almost forensically wants you to just own up, be accountable, and say how you feel and say what matters to you. That's what gives you a fresh new opportunity. That's why people will resonate to what you have to say, what you're about, and it will help support you in terms of what you're trying to achieve, both professionally and personally. The Ace of Pentacles coming in, along with that Six, suggests to me there's help and support available to allow you to set off in a new direction or to instigate something new or perhaps to take up a new offer. All right, so if you have felt a little bit uncertain or in limbo in and around your professional career specifically, a lot of inspiration and balancing up of things to come through. in the month of November. And again, Page of Swords wants you to put it out there into the world, wants you to communicate, to express, to be open and curious. The more curious you can be and not closed-minded in your mind or your heart, the better you're going to find the opportunity to kind of really see the missing details, the nuances, the things that other people are not observing in quite the same way, you know? We also see a returning to a better state of health and vitality and well-being. And again, as Mars moves direct, I'm thinking that you're going to start to feel just more energized, so perhaps more dedicated to looking after yourself. You know, if that's felt a little bit more challenging, particularly through the month of October, which felt very intense and liminal and kind of all over the place, that maybe just left you just feeling a little bit strung out and wrung out in different ways. And perhaps that was required because you needed to revisit some level of grief that had been avoided. You know, remember that poem at the beginning, that's not about avoidance in November, it's facing everything head on so you can clear a lot of that energy out. Not forget it if it's meaningful and important, but find a really safe part of your soul for it to be held and nurtured, and so that you can give yourself permission to move on with your life and to start to tap into all of the really wonderful opportunities that are available to you. Because the Queen of Wands is showing you the vibrancy and something being ignited and something that's on the right on the edge of being manifested for you. Right on the edge. Beautiful. It's coming in like I said, instantaneously. You can almost taste it, it's that close. So if you've been kind of working away on something for a long time, or if you felt that your investment hasn't been rewarded, that Six of Pentacles is coming in through November to balance it up for you, okay? Now this may well be a fire sign as well that's important, Aries, Sagittarius or Leo that you're dealing with. In that instance, there is the opportunity here to take something to a different level, perhaps to I'm getting more of a kind of platonic friendship kind of a vibe. So it may feel that, you know, if some of you are looking for a much more romantic kind of quality or element here, it may be that you have to start in a slightly different place in order to build upon something. Certainly from a professional capacity, really sound opportunities to connect with somebody that's rich in ideas and creativity and can really help to advance you or help you to see some kind of potential within yourself. Remember to stand your ground though, yeah? Don't be giving away your crown jewels. Don't be not understanding the value that you have to bring into any situation, okay? Queen of Wands is also here holding something really prized in her hands, this beautiful flame, this beautiful spark of energy, surrounded by these candles that she's lighting up with that one flame, okay? It can go far. What your ideas, what your investment is through the month of November has a beautiful sense of longevity to it. And you know what? That lunar eclipse in Gemini in the 10th is all about that. It's about your legacy. It's about where you want to see yourself over the next 10 years. Now, link back to between 2010 and 2013. That's the last time we worked with the Gemini-Sagittarius axis and the North and South nodes. So think about some of the major life changes that took place at that time. Don't be concerned if it was all like really upheavaled and difficult. It's not necessarily going to be a repeat of the challenge because you completely transformed and changed to who you were then. But the level of change that you perhaps experienced is going to give you a bit of a heads up in terms of the way that life might be changing between now and the end of 2021, you know? It can be a really exciting, adventurous time for you. And I know sometimes that level of spontaneity and instantaneous change can be a little bit overwhelming, particularly in a year where you've not really been able to stop and catch your breath because there's just been so many external factors that have come in to upheaval your energy. But the more you can embrace this, the more I feel you're going to rise up and be able to see things from a different perspective and understand the way in which your energy is now supporting you in that change as well, Virgo, okay? So your Five of Cups coming in here, and, you know, it's part of the fabric of life, isn't it? That we have to go through these challenges, these losses, these setbacks, these disappointments. And there are times when we lose ourselves, you know? We lose ourselves and we forget who we are and we kind of give away our power, or we We have to sit in a particular energy, and sometimes it feels like we're never going to be able to move past it or go beyond it. And yet the wheel keeps turning and life keeps changing. And whatever it is that we're experiencing in that moment, the emotion that's around us, it's like a piece of clothing. We can take it off. It doesn't define who we are. You know, you are the vibrancy and the spark and the energy and the passion of that Queen of Wands. You are not that black hole. You are not this abyss kind of a vibe that has you questioning or doubting everything about yourself or your life. So if that has been your experience, or if you hit a couple of moments through this month of November where that feels to kind of close in a little bit tight, Virgo, understand that it's a passing phase of energy. There's something valuable and important. It's here to teach you, and maybe that we need to revisit so we can close it out to then be able to move forward. Now, maybe it is more connected for some of you to a specific person, to this fire energy. Maybe you're seeing them moving forward with their life and really embracing things without you. Maybe they're advancing ahead of you professionally, or this is someone you've had a relationship with and maybe there's a change or a shift that's taken place. Maybe this person's no longer part of your world, and that there is a sense of feeling left, a sense of feeling left behind, but you're not. You know, this whole galaxy of stars is almost giving you the map of exactly how you get out of this. Exactly how you get out of this, okay? You are not bound into any kind of narrative at the moment. Remember, you know, any situations around you that no longer work for you, you have the power to change them, okay? And that is going to happen through this month of November, all right? Absolutely, the gear shift will take place, and it could, for some of you, just literally happen within a single moment. You know, you might just find yourself from 1 hour to the next, from one day to the next, being able to come to a point of understanding that allows you to completely release something so powerful. Okay, this card's been coming up a lot in the readings for November, so it's lovely to see it here for you as well, Virgo. It's expansion and north, okay? So here's a nod to the mountains that we just talked about, okay? But we can see there's a clear path through the mountains. The water is calm. So calm it reflects, again, this galaxy of stars, this beautiful aurora borealis, the northern lights. There's a compass here guiding you. So regardless of what you're experiencing and what you're going through, Spirit are showing you the way. And your success in this is absolutely assured. There's no going back here. This is about your destiny. This is about your future. This is about you understanding where you sit in the grand scheme of things and how it's supporting you to become your best self and to realize some of the hopes and dreams that you have, okay? You're safe. You're in a boat here and you're having a safe passage. You're being given a safe passage of travel. So remember that if there is in any upheaval moments through this month. We have to close out to open something up, okay? There are major opportunities, new opportunities coming your way. What you will do with them is up to you, but what we see is that they are guiding you very much forward. There is one choice for you to make, only one option. I don't really see you confused about that, okay? I see you being able to really own it and know deep within your gut what the right thing to do is in this instance. And that's just going to open up a whole new storyline for you that I think you're going to be so excited to feel into and explore as we move into the weeks to come. So let's take a look at this Moonology card for you as well. Emotions are running high, supermoon. Okay, I mean, we had this double full moon in October, and then obviously we've got this full moon eclipse in Gemini at the end of November. So the impacts of the lunar cycles are intense. They're intense, you know, and there is an intensity to the entire year of 2020. November is no different. In a slightly different way to October though, not leaving you kind of like you're in the sandpit and not knowing kind of where you're at or where you're going. More like the trajectory is changing and the roller coaster is moving so fast and you're not quite sure if you want to stay on it or if you want to get off, you know? But with that, there is a level of just having to trust in yourself and to, like we said, stand your ground. It just seems a really important phrase that comes up for you, okay? Don't be pushed into anything, all right? The intensity can be helpful because it can really show you what matters and what you actually care about. And I think that's why that Three of Swords, Five of Cups is making such a poignant presence in your reading in November, because it really does demonstrate to you what you care about, what you cared about, what matters to you, what truly matters to you. And when you understand that, then you can help reshape things in your world to make sure that your priorities are really aligned and that you can really make time for the things in your life that are going to help you to become your best self. So, Virgo, I hope that this has helped. And that you've enjoyed your reading. Please do check back in with it throughout the month. You may well find that these messages start to resonate more as you are experiencing some of these different energy shifts. 15th of the month with that Scorpio new moon, fantastic time to be launching, expressing, communicating anything important that you have to say or conversations that are significant for you. Okay, so this is a general reading. If you'd like to join me for the extended version, we are going to go ahead and pull some additional cards. We'll speak for about another 20 minutes or so and go into a little bit more detail with regards to this reading. You can find the link for that in the description and the comments section underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull us a couple of clarifying cards just now. So think about a question I might not have covered in this general reading, and we will see what comes through in the extended. And then just going to take this main spread now, clarifying that Six of Pentacles with Three of Swords and the Chariot. Regardless of any kind of upset, there is a way through. There is an absolute way through this. Beautiful healing energy coming in with Temperance there. Of course, Temperance also links to Sagittarius, and we're going to be moving into the Sun in Sag on the 21st of this month, into your 4th house of home, family. So maybe there's a little bit of soul soothing and healing that's required in that area or aspect of your life, or changes that's coming through here. Even legal agreements coming through. Remember, from a contract perspective, best to kind of clear out those retrograde energies, but certainly in the second half of the month, that is the best time to do it. Card of Pisces coming through there. Information still to come to light. You might need to hold out, you know, just trust in your intuition if you feel there's a missing piece, okay? Okay. We're going to check into some of that upheavaled energy with the Tower and go in a little bit more in depth to see where we're at with that. But Seven of Cups bringing in Page of Cups here. Knight of Wands. Fire sign here, important. Okay, getting a lot of sevens coming through in your reading for this month. Beautiful high spiritual number. Card of the Lovers linking into Gemini. Of course, talking about the influence of that Gemini moon as well, I feel very strongly for some of you. You know, you are battling with a couple of things this month, Virgo, but you need to know that the way through is going to present itself really clearly to you. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. If you'd like to join me for the extended, we will unearth what is being presented here in the clarifying cards. Thank you so much for joining me. I wish you beautiful blessings for this month of November, and I look forward to catching up with you next month, where we'll wrap up the year of 2020. Okay.